Hello friends,
My name is Ruth.
I am Sunny and this
It's Cultural Clash India-Peru.
Friends, for today's video we're going to share something that we used to doubt a lot, whether we should tell this or not. But since we consider you like our family now, we care about you. And also thank you so much for your affection and your support for our channel and for watching us too. Thank you very much.
In the previous video, we were asked what was the reason why Sunny had trouble coming here to Peru. Honestly, this is a pretty long story. It's not something that just happened at that time, that's all. It was something he had been carrying for a while, and then right before he came, that's when it basically exploded, something like that. So what we're going to tell you today is everything that happened from the very beginning, because it basically starts from the day I arrived in India. So these are things we haven't talked about, nobody knows. It's quite complicated to have a relationship like this, intercultural. Don't think it's all fantasy, a perfect world. No, our relationship has had its ups and downs, and actually it hasn't been because of us. I mean, it hasn't been because of fights between us or problems between us, but because of other people. And that's what has affected us a lot since we got married. Well, even before that, since I arrived. And that's what we wanted to share with you before telling you all of this. I don't want you to misunderstand things or think that everyone in India is like that.
Because they're not.
These people are distant relatives of Sunny. They're not his close family. Living in their house with their parents, close uncles, siblings, I've been very happy. I haven't had any kind of problem. But these people are different, so all over the world there are different people, good and bad, and it's the same in this case. Please don't think that just because this happened to us, it's going to happen to everyone, or that all people are like this, because they're not. I hope that's clear, and that people aren't saying in the comments that Indians are like this or like that, because that's not true.
Friends, when someone does us wrong, honestly we suffer and it makes us sad too. But it's even sadder when those people who hurt you are your family, or people you consider family. Have you lived with them? Did something like that really happen with us? Like Ruth said too, that it started with her arrival and the people. And the hypocrisy, I think it was the first time I saw hypocrisy. Ruth used that word, hypocrisy, hypocrite, 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 hypocrite. I didn't understand what it was, but I think I experienced it and now I know. I know very well what hypocrisy is, and I learned the definition of hypocrisy in a bad way. Yes, with a very unpleasant experience.
Before my in-laws came to my house, to the apartment where we lived, one of my husband's cousins arrived. Yes, that cousin was like a brother to my husband.
Yes, he loved him very much, and I don't hold a grudge, even though he did something really bad, truly very bad, but I don't hold a grudge. Now I've gotten over it, I've forgiven him, but yes, he was like my brother and he came into our room. I think he was the first person in India who met her, and we were fine with me there, with us. I tried Inca Cola too, and she asked.
That's when he told me that his cousin was coming, and I didn't have any problem with it. Because always before, even before I met him in person, when we were long distance, he always spoke very highly of his family. And this cousin, well, he's not really a cousin. Like, he's the son of his mom's sister. No, he's the son of a cousin of his mom or his dad, I think. So he's a distant cousin, not a close cousin.
Yeah.
And still he cared about him a lot. I don't even know my distant cousins, but anyway, we welcomed him pretty well. And well, nothing happened. I mean, there was nothing out of the ordinary. It was a visit like any other. He left, and after that,
that cousin went to his grandparents' house, or like my dad's uncles, and from there it was like gossip. He told it in a way that wasn't accurate. Because living together in India is frowned upon. It's not illegal, but it's looked down on by society. And he told it that way, that this girl is living with her boyfriend without being married, and yeah, they didn't like it. My mom went to her house, my dad's aunt's house, and that's when she found out that Ruth had already arrived. We wanted to surprise my parents, that's why we hadn't told anyone. But that cousin ruined everything.
Of course, and the way my mother-in-law found out was the worst. Because, well, they basically did it in a very mocking way, in a way that made her feel bad. And, well, my mother-in-law started crying at that moment because we hadn't told her either. Because, like Sonny said, it was going to be a surprise. And we didn't think that cousin would basically stab us in the back, and in such an ugly way. So that's how it happened. Those uncles, their grandparents, in the end, the whole town found out. In the end, everyone knew, small town, big hell. And that saying, well, it's very true.
After setting the wedding date, my dad went to invite my grandparents, my dad's uncles who are already gossipy, who made fun of our relationship. And what my grandfather or my dad's uncle said was not pleasant at all. He said it's not acceptable, he's getting married for love, and that's very wrong. They should stay there, they don't need to set foot in this town because that will bring discord and disrespect, and I don't know, a lot of things, he said. So my dad told him, look, if you don't want to come, that's fine. My children are happy and they're going to come to this town because we're going to marry them, and she's our daughter-in-law, they have to come to our house. So my dad left from there and they just didn't want to come to the wedding.
Yes, friends. All of this happened because the cousin, well, being a hypocrite and backstabber, went to tell his grandparents just because we were spending time together. Living together, as Sunny said, is not well regarded in India, even in the first videos we have. There were Latinos who criticized us for living together, and we only lived together for a month, not because we wanted to, but because we had no other choice. We didn't have any other option. We were gonna get married. I mean, it wasn't like we were unsure about it. We were definitely gonna get married, so we definitely had to live together just for 1 month. Like Sunny told you, when you invite an elder to a wedding and he refuses to go, his children, his grandchildren don't go, nobody goes. The children and grandchildren always ask that grandfather, are you going to such and such wedding? If he says yes, everyone goes. If he says no, no one goes, nobody goes. Yes, so we expected that no one would come. Obviously, they are his grandchildren, his children. They didn't have to come, but they did. That grandfather who criticized us didn't come, but his wife came and his daughters-in-law came, one of his daughters-in-law. On the wedding day, she came up behind me and gave me a Judas kiss because I didn't know her. Until then, I thought she didn't have any problem with me or with him, but yes, she gave me a kiss. Out of nowhere, or had I never seen her before? And out of nowhere, she came up behind me, gave me a kiss. I turned around and she said, oh, things like that. Well, normal, I greeted her normal, just like his grandmother, the wife of that grandfather. They danced, everything was normal. The grandchildren and that treacherous father didn't come. They didn't come. But, well, until then, I thought the two of them were fine with us, with me and my husband. Yes, they were fine. They didn't have any problem. Because they had come to our wedding, but it was a surprise for us. It was a surprise later. What we found out, what happened.
As you saw in the wedding video, there weren't many people because normally in India, weddings are really big. Almost 200, 300, even up to 500 people come, and it's a lot. But at that time, there weren't many people because that grandfather, I think he caused a lot of trouble, so not many people came and everyone was angry. But I don't care anymore. We got married and my family was there. I was happy with that. I didn't even want other people. And after our wedding, one day when Ruth got her nose pierced, there was an infection in her nose. And I called my cousin to ask because she knew, because she had her piercing. And I asked her, how did it heal? She told me, look, Sony, you did it wrong. I hope you made a good decision to get married. And I said, but what? What's the problem? Well, if my family agrees and he's a good person, then what's the issue? And I said, yes, I'm just telling you that I hope you made a good decision to get married like that because they still believed it was wrong to get married like that for love.
But anyway, when I went to his house, most people would come to visit us. mostly to meet me, to see what I was like, to talk maybe a little with me, and some brought gifts. So in one of those visits, Sony's aunts came, her father's cousins, and the parents of that treacherous cousin.
Yes.
They came, I don't know for what reason, honestly, I think just to gossip, because it was already clear that they didn't like me or our marriage. It was already like that, it was already clear, I already knew, I had already been told, so I don't know why they came. And I was really surprised that they were like that, because even before I came to India, before I went to India, they used to talk to me on video calls, they chatted with many of their cousins, there was no problem at all. I mean, that's the ultimate hypocrisy. I think if you don't like someone, if you don't get along with them, you just don't talk to them, that's it. But why make them believe that you like them?
Right or not?
I can understand that, but well,
Yeah, friends, that really shocked me too because, like Ruth said, we used to talk on video calls. We even made groups on Facebook. We did group video calls and everything was fine. And for me, it was a shock because I thought that when she was going to come to India, they would like her. Well, maybe not be happier, but it was the complete opposite. It really shocked me because on calls they were so affectionate, and now what happened when she's here in person? Nothing good.
friends. And that's how time went by, and little by little that family started to distance themselves from us. Worse, he didn't even talk to his parents anymore. They no longer attended the festivals which they used to spend together and stopped going to my in-laws' house as well. Sometimes they made me feel really bad, honestly, because I thought, it's my fault this family has drifted apart, and honestly, back then I used to say that, but now I'm happy, really, yes, I'm happy that they realized the kind of people they were before. I felt guilty, yes, because I thought it's my fault. They're not joining their festivals and have distanced themselves, which made me feel bad. Well, among those visits, we would always go visit my in-laws because we didn't live with my in-laws. We lived in one city and my in-laws lived in another city. So it took about 3 to 4 hours to go visit them. We would go we would go once a month, but we would stay for 3 or 4 days at most. Yes, so during those visits, I had to dress in a more traditional way. Why? Because that town was quite conservative. I mean, it's very difficult there for a daughter-in-law to show up in jeans and a little shirt like this. It's almost impossible. So I would go wearing salwar kameez, which are those pants wide and a kameez not too long. It was nice, really comfortable clothing. I was never forced to wear it, but I liked it. I really liked wearing it. It was very pretty. So for me, it was no problem at all to dress like that. There were other times when I didn't wear that kind of clothing, but rather looser, different clothes. I'll leave some photos there for you to see. So sometimes I would go like that with my hair down, and that grandfather was always sitting out there in front of his house. And his house, coincidentally, was next to my in-laws' house. So every time I went, he would criticize something about me, my hair or my clothes, or if I didn't put something on, I don't know. I think he even criticized my jewelry, whether I wore something or not. He always saw something wrong with me. And he would end up criticizing and gossiping about it to the whole town, talking about it. And it always reached my mother-in-law's ears, and obviously my mother-in-law also felt bad.
So,
I always tried to dress properly, so that, look, maybe it sounds crazy to you, but I tried to please that grandfather. Even though he was mean to us, I tried to please him, and I know it's wrong now. I know it's wrong. But at that time, I wanted there to be no tension between those families. I thought maybe if I please him, he will change his mindset, his way of thinking, and get along better. With my in-laws, no, because I didn't want them to be distant. But it wasn't just that. He didn't like anything about me, not even my language, not even my language. Or it was super weird because there were some girls in the village and they were very curious like that. And they would always come to me and say, teach me Spanish, I'll teach you Indian. And there were like 3 girls or 2, I think, I don't remember. So they always came, and of course I would teach them, they would teach me like that. In Indian, I would teach them in Spanish, and little by little they learned. They already knew how to say, how are you, hello, my name is, I don't know, things like that, colors. They already knew how to say those basic things more or less, and they practiced with each other. Outside. Where was the old man? Outside. So I would listen to them. And one day, well, a girl I was teaching came in crying, and I said to her, what could have happened? Then she starts to tell me, no, that yes, the grandfather, how was it? What did he say to her?
Yes, like, oh, what nonsense are you learning? It sounds like the language of, I don't know, witches, or I don't know what he said. But he said something like that it wasn't pleasant at all, that language didn't sound good. That's why the girl felt really bad and started to cry. She also started to cry when she saw him. And then my mom, all furious, and I think she left. She went to that grandfather's house and told his wife, look, your husband, he's already old. Well, he shouldn't speak so harshly. He should say good things so the kids can learn, but he's criticizing them. He should motivate them since they're learning something new. But no, he's always well dressed and always says something to my daughter-in-law. I'm not going to put up with this, so what should I do? Then that grandfather said, okay, I admit my mistake and I won't do something like that again. But they didn't stop there.
Well, yes, the truth is that when I saw the girl crying because they told me why she was crying, I also felt guilty. I said, how is it possible that something new, a new language, could bother her? I mean, what child wouldn't want to be taught a new language? What parent wouldn't want their child to be taught a new language? Especially Spanish, which is a language spoken in many countries. So I started crying too because I felt bad about what he said to her, seeing her cry, and that's how it happened. Well, that man, that old guy or elder or whatever you want to call him, he was never happy with anything, never happy with anything. I was tired of always dressing properly and trying to impress him, hoping he'd admit he was wrong and everything was fine since there was never any problem in our marriage. I mean, I don't really know what bothered him so much, honestly, but anyway, that's how time went by. And they were always looking for something bad to criticize. But my mother-in-law and father-in-law were wonderful people, truly. They were always supporting us. They would tell us not to pay attention, that they didn't care about that family. I mean, always, always on our side. At no point did they make me feel guilty for the things that happened, not once, and I really appreciate that from them.
And that's how things happened, friends. And honestly, at that time, it was very difficult for us too, for both of us, because we felt a little guilty about that break between the two families. But it wasn't like that. We weren't the reason for it, and time went by like that. And a cousin, who is the sister of that treacherous cousin, comes to visit us. And I thought she was the only one who supported both of us because she always talked like, how are you? Are you okay? Don't worry, everything will be fine. That's how she talked, and well, one day she came to visit us and we welcomed her, we cooked, ate together, talked, and that's it. So, did you like it?
When he told me his cousin was coming, honestly, I was already disappointed. By that time, I was already disappointed with that whole family. And I told him I'm going to try to get along with her. But if she acts all annoying, like we say here, I'm not going to let her walk all over me. I'm not going to let that happen. I told him, and then she came, and honestly, I liked her. I mean, I really did like her. She surprised me. I liked the way she was. And when she left, well, because I was meeting her for the first time, she seemed like a good girl to me. I didn't notice anything bad about her then. I don't know if she changed by the time the problem happened or if she was showing herself in a different way. We don't know, we can't understand it, but that's how it happened. She left and left us with a good impression. She left me with a good impression, yes, of a proper girl, but then what she did. Well, I think it was the worst thing that anyone from that family did to us.
Yes.
Because she showed herself in a different way. Well, after that, time passed and we continued as usual. The truth is that since we lived apart, we weren't really affected because it was only when we went to visit Sunny's parents. Yes, well, sometimes something would always happen, but when we were alone in our house, we didn't have any problems. Well, between those visits and the insults and everything from the old man, I had already gotten used to it. He didn't do it anymore. In case they do decide to invite us to eat.
Yes, yes, friends, they decide to invite us to their house for dinner. But my mom refused. She said, no, my children are not going. They are not going to set foot in that house. And because they were afraid, also because sometimes, unfortunately, there are cases in India of honor killings. And my mom thought like that if they do something to my children, well, yes, they might mix something in their food. And it was terrible because you couldn't trust those people. The hypocrisy they showed was real. It was the ugliest thing I've seen in my life. I felt it was really ugly. And so, well, they rejected. But again, like, oh, please, let her also meet my family. Let her come. Let's cook. No, but it didn't happen. We went. I think it was the right decision we made.
It's just very strange. I don't know if you all find it strange that an entire family, because there were grandparents, children, grandchildren, daughters-in-law, everyone, the whole family, they practically hated us, and now I'm sure they hated us because of everything they did. Yes, but for them to invite us to eat after all the insults and rejection and to say, come and get to know us, it was strange. And my mother-in-law, well, I think she sensed something. And what Sony mentioned about honor killings, that still happens in India, and it's usually done by much older people. Now, young people today don't think that way. But they were grandparents, so we didn't know what they were going to do to us in there. And no, we didn't go at any time. We went to their house at no time, says Sony. Sony told me. They also sent food like that to my mother-in-law's house. They sent food for us to eat. It was super strange, really. It was weird for them to do that.
That's right. They would send things like vegetables or chicken they had cooked, some sweets. But my mom would throw that to the dogs because she didn't trust those people. She would serve it out of respect since they kept sending it, but she never let us eat it. She even denied it, like if those aunts or their children brought something to eat, because I knew about that. That's how they told me to also tell her not to accept anything to eat, because you can't trust those people.
Yeah, that's how things happen with those families. I think after that they didn't send anything anymore. I guess they realized their food ended up in the dog's bowl.
Yeah, they didn't send anything. And then the day came when there was a fair in my town.
And there's also the video of SOC.
There's also a video of that, the video of we went there and there was, my cousin was there, the cousin I called about her piercing to ask was she there. I think Ruth saw him and I saw him too, then she saw me as well, but she wanted to just walk by ignoring us. But well, there was nothing wrong, she just said hi, I just greeted her. She came with a sour face. She came with a face like that, all ugly. And I said, hi, and I said, yes, that's my wife, okay, hi, and then she really left. She showed her very ugly face. Because before, always, it's like we've really grown up together. They were like my brothers, those cousins, and we always thought our wedding would be like that. We were going to dance a lot, this and that, but it was all in vain. Honestly, it still hurts me, and that betrayal, that deception they did hurts me too.
Yes, well, the truth is that when I saw her, I didn't know her in person because the time he called her, obviously, it was just a phone call. I saw her on Facebook, her Facebook photos, and well, I kind of recognized her. And I said, I think she's his cousin, and I saw her. And she saw me and saw him, and he hadn't seen her yet. So she pretended not to see us, she just walked by, and he started calling her like to come over, and I didn't want him to do that because I already knew what was going to happen. Sunny is quiet. I don't know, isn't he resentful? He thought that his cousin wouldn't do anything. Well, no. She said it would be fine, that she'd come say hi and everything would be okay, but I already knew it wouldn't be like that. By the way she looked at us, she rejected us and wanted to walk right past, but the girl, I think out of obligation, came over. And when my wife Ruth tells me, she looks at me like yes
in her
face. I already knew it was going to be like that, but we also received her rejection there. She left, and anyone would think that these cousins are, or to judge us and criticize us and reject us so much, are they really that righteous? But it's incredible everything they did afterwards. Yes, I mean, they criticized us so much, and in the end, they ended up doing much worse things. We didn't do anything wrong. We got married for love. That's what bothered them. So that's how things happened. The rejection and everything with this family. After this,
before she went to Peru, we went to my house so she could say goodbye to everyone, because not everyone could go to the airport. Because there were also boys and girls who were learning Spanish, so we wanted her to say goodbye to everyone at that moment. And at night the grandmother came, the wife of that grandfather who caused us so many problems. She came and was crying, and she cried.
To love, yes, if you can imagine how she cried.
And I thought, but what happened? And she comes and hugs me very tightly. And I'm the kind of person that when someone is like that, I forget everything they've done, and I also care about them. She said to me, yes, son, you ignore me, then I also ignore myself, ignore my husband. He's always there, but you all always just walk right by, you don't even look at us. Yes, it's bad. So, well, he started talking. And honestly, at that moment, I forgot everything they had done to us. And I was just like, okay, it's fine, which was my big mistake. Those are the ones I always ignore and forget about things. And then, well, he hugs her too, starts crying. Oh yeah, I think she thought I was going to go with her too.
Yes, the grandmother thought that. I think that since I was leaving, he was going to come with me too. And then she thought she would never see him again. But I mean, the sad part about this was that even though she was hugging him and crying, she came in crying like in Bollywood movies like that. Oh, crying a lot. I didn't understand why she was crying like that. When he hugged her and started talking to her later in his language, she told him that he was saying, you ignore me and this. I mean, he wasn't even apologizing. He was blaming us, saying that we ignored her and didn't greet her. At first we did greet her, he greeted her, they even made me greet him back in Karvashota. Despite all the insults he gave me, we greeted him. But how can you respect or greet a person who is constantly insulting you, treating you badly and doing other things, right? I mean, we prefer to distance ourselves because of the rejection they gave us too. It wasn't that we rejected them, they rejected us, of course. So if they don't want to see us, why should we be greeting them? And then they complain that we don't say hello. After hugging him, he comes to hug me. And honestly, I didn't understand. Like Sunny says, I thought Grandma was crying because he was going to come with me. That's what I was thinking. Her. I don't know what she said to me, honestly. I don't understand Bindi. I don't know what she said to me. When she was crying with me, but she grabbed my face like this and was telling me things. And I swear to you, I swear. I thought she was sorry now, like he says. I didn't think she was blaming us for what they had done. I just thought she was sorry. And maybe her husband wouldn't agree, but she had already realized that they had done wrong. But no, that wasn't it.
Yes, and they also criticized her more because they thought that's what they told my mother. Well, that she is going to take your son away, she is going to take him abroad, your son is going to forget about you, you won't know anything about him anymore. And I don't know, those people said a lot of nonsense, so much envy. I think it was mostly envy because our parents did accept our marriage, which is for love. And we will tell you later in another video why they were more envious. Because their children weren't doing well in these things, and my family accepted her. They accepted her with all their heart. She received all the affection from my family, and I think that was the envy. And I don't know what else they have in their hearts, but honestly, it was really ugly.
This cousin, the one who came to visit us for the first time, well, to meet me, She had a relationship with a person from a different religion, a religion that, well, for Hindus, it's not acceptable to have a relationship with this kind of person. I mean, for us, it's normal. So she got into a relationship with a guy from a different religion, she being Hindu, and him from another religion, a religion you can probably imagine. And I already lived with them.
They lived together longer than we did, almost 2 years, and we only lived together for a month, and they criticized us so much. And this?
Grandpa found out. Grandpa found out that his granddaughter was living with someone from a religion he doesn't even accept, and, well, that she was already living together. And this girl's parents, who criticized us, accepted him. They accepted the boy very well, since they also wanted her to get married already. And I start to think and I say, wow, yes. I mean, so much, yes, they criticize us so much just for their daughter to end up being something. I mean, it was worse because she spent much more time with this guy. More than a year, of course, they haven't gotten married yet. Why? Because the grandfather has become proud?
Yes.
He knows exactly what he's done to us, and their marriage, which is for love, even though it upset the grandfather so much since she's his direct granddaughter, this girl, yes. So the grandfather doesn't want them to get married and she can't get married until that grandfather dies? Yes, and that's what they'll have to do. Wait, yes. She had already told us this when we met. At that time, she had our support. I mean, she told us and she had our support. If she wanted to get married, we would have attended. We wouldn't have had any problem. Well, friends, and this was basically the beginning of how it all started. Yes, rejection and everything we went through during our marriage, our first year. Yes, why are we telling you this? Because if we tell you what the problem was that kept him from coming to Peru, it was caused by this family. You won't understand it. I mean, if we don't tell you all of this, you won't understand it. Yes, so now you know what happened with this cousin, the one who stabbed us in the back. It was even worse because she pretended to be someone she wasn't. Her two brothers also went through something really bad. Yes, really bad. The truth is, we're gonna tell you about this in the next video. And the cousin who also rejected us at the fair, honestly, something incredible happened to her too, which left us speechless. This taught us a great lesson. Yes, for me too, for him, for everyone who is watching this video. Never spit at the sky because it can fall back on your face. Yes, because, well, criticizing. It's very easy to say, oh yes, they're getting married for love, or this or that, or about anything. You don't know what might happen to you later on or what you might do yourself, do you?
That's all, it's not all. There are things to come that were worse than this because they didn't affect us as much, but what happened afterwards did affect us a lot. Personally, it affected me a lot, and it affected Ruth too because we were separated, we weren't together to support each other.
Well, friends, at first Sony and I thought about telling everything really, but I think it's gonna take a long time, many hours. So yes, we're definitely going to do it in 2 parts. In this part, we'll tell you everything we went through with this family. Yes, and how did it start? It practically didn't affect us because, well, it was just insults, rejection, all of that. You know, I mean, it does affect you obviously, but it wasn't as bad as what they did to us later, before he came. Yes, Peru, yes. So, in the next video, we're going to tell you what happened with this family, what they did, and also what happened with these cousins, with the children. Of the people who criticized us, yes, because they ended up doing much worse things. I mean, things we didn't even do. So this really is, like Sony said, a big lesson for us. Yes, learning from this bad experience not to criticize or judge. Above all, not to judge other people. Yes, because with our marriage, we weren't hurting them. It didn't affect them at all, of course. But what they did really affected us a lot.
A lot.
Yes, so this will be left for the next video. I hope you understood us now. Not all intercultural marriages are perfect. They're not. Yes, we've been through a lot. We've managed to get through it. And in our marriage, well, everything is fine. Thank God everything has always been fine. Actually, I think that if it hadn't been for those people, we would have done better. But there's always a test for every couple. If it's not in your marriage, it's between the two of you. It's other people, other people. So we've already been through all of this. We'll see each other in the next video.
Also follow us on our social media. We have an online store for products from India. In the description you can find the link. And we also have TikTok where we make funny videos, sometimes just to have fun and share the joy with you. That's all.
Friends, take good care of yourselves. Bye.
Bye.